Courage on the spiritual path. Wow, you can't go on this spiritual path without courage. That is for sure. When you proclaim things like love and light, oh, people love to hear those pretty words, but very few people want to really live it. So sorry, am I being very harsh? So very few people want to really live it. Because we're so stuck in doctrine, we are so stuck in old ways that when the message of love comes through, we're so frightened to freely love and freely care and freely heal the world, which is what we've all been given, this light within us. Deep in the hearts of all is the light of all lights, says the Bhagavad Gita. The Upanishad says, deep in the hearts of all lives the Lord of love. But yet, at every turn, human beings are faced with opposition. We are faced with, fear of giving this love and giving this light and being who we really are. Yet we all know one simple truth: when we don't live fully in love, and the way you kind of recognize this love is when you fall in love, that when you first fall in love with anybody, there's this elated feeling which is so unconditional. Do you all remember it or know it? That nothing can disturb it. Now just imagine that feeling all the time. When you recognize everything is divine, you're in love with the whole world all the time. Yes, you accept the way the world is, because the world is a university. That's all it is. And you go to university, there's some subjects you like, and there's some subjects you don't like. There's some friends you like, and there's some friends you don't like. Normal. And this is the way of the world. So, first of all, in order to have courage in your spiritual path, you must be very scientifically practical. Study the world you're in. We have good, we have evil. Why? We have disaster, we have places where they're flourishing. Why? You have to ask these questions. You have to question yourself. Why is it you feel unfulfilled? Why do you feel lost? When do you feel lost? When do you feel unfulfilled? When you're not in that complete love, there's some kind of lacking, some loneliness, some dryness. Why? Why should you feel that loneliness, that as if it needs to be filled with love? Why? Because that is your nature. You are love. And yet the world teaches us, oh, be good, do good. All the religions teach us that. Share what you have. Enjoy it all. I love our master, the way he says that your birthright is to be happy. Wow, precious words. So many traditions tell us, oh, in order to find God, you have to be miserable. But I have not seen any person miserable finding God. And I've done that observation with my own eyes. And the ones that have found God, or found their spirit, people like my master, so joyful. And then there's somebody else I've met, Mother Teresa, I've met her too. So joyful in a quiet way, so madly in love with her Lord Jesus, that she sees Lord Jesus in everyone, in the prostitute. I remember I think I've told this story, right? When my sister went to, she had raised a lot of money for Mother Teresa, and she was actually gone to Calcutta to give her the money. It was quite a large amount of money. I think it was 100,000, something like that. And my sister took it there with her husband, sitting with Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa's thanking her, and she said, oh, we need to open another home for the prostitutes because they're thrown in the streets. At that very moment, my sister told me, she said, there was a woman coming into the door crying, carrying a baby, so tacky and really like she'd been beaten up. And Mother Teresa, not interested in the money, just drew up and said, I have to do my work, and ran away happy. You sort out the money with the others, Great timing. You see, we need a home. Just that courage, that fire, that comes in people when they have the courage to follow They're calling. You know, when she was asked to go back to Albania, she broke all the rules. She didn't go back. She wanted to stay in India. You know that, don't you? Because she felt that's where she could serve. But she was really called to go back. So in order to follow your true spirit, you have to be very courageous. You have to be very courageous because people say, oh, you're becoming too religious, you're becoming too good. You know, maybe by being so religious, life is not so simple. You know, people will take advantage of you. Don't you understand? So everybody likes God or religion, and they, you know, stand by the fringes of it. They don't dare go delve deep in the divine. You know why? They're scared what they may find. Because you may find something so hard to understand in you, something so beautiful in you that you're scared to show it to the rest of the world. The light within. Because when you find that light within, you will be so different from what people expect you to be. You will break all their rules of how you should be. And in order to go on this path, you have to be very, very, very courageous to follow the voice within. But I think in any walk of human existence, with your work, with anything you want to do new in life anyway, courage is needed. Even in the simple things, I watch people moving home, from one home to another home, even if it's a better home. They come to me with all kinds of nightmares and fears, and they say, don't you want to move to this bigger, nicer home? Why all of a sudden this home that you've always wanted is giving you nightmares? And you're so fearful of the move. Where's your courage? Oh, what if things don't work out the same? Or what if this should happen? And what if that should happen? Full of fear. You know, maybe I don't deserve it. Maybe I should live in a simple home. Why? The gods want to give it to you. Enjoy it. Of course, moving house is stressful. There's a lot of physical work, getting new addresses, getting new this, new electricity bills, whatever. Yes, it's a lot of work, but stressful, I agree, but why should you be frightened? So you see, in life, we are so frightened of so many little things. If you can't deal with those little fears, how are you going to have the courage to deal with something like light? Because the divine energy is this dynamic light. This dynamic light. So in life, first of all, start building up your own courage. Noticing your own strengths. Where are you weak? In simple, everyday things. People want to get to the divine, but they can't deal with life itself. They can't deal with their family members. They can't break away from this. They don't have the courage to do this. But if I do this, this will happen. If they don't have this courage in the normal world, how are they ever going to get even close to the spiritual world? You know, all the saints and sages tell us to walk the spiritual path is like a razor's edge. And how many movies have you seen, and how much history have we gone through, and we've seen all those that have won the highest battle have gone through many infernos in their life. Many deep, dark places to find the light. How many people do you know have gone through so much darkness, and then they found the light and the God within? And it comes right back to where their heart is. Sitting right here, making friends with themselves, removing the guilt, removing the fear, removing the worry. That I may be doing something wrong. Why do we constantly think that we are being judged? And if you do something wrong, what is the big deal? You'll just next time learn and not do it again. What's the problem with making a mistake to find yourself? If you don't walk, if you don't fall, you will never walk. If you don't face your fears, you will never get the diamond at the end of the road or that crystal. So you need courage. You need a higher voltage to see and be aware of your spirit and God. Because if you're on a low voltage, you cannot get the highest voltage. You know, in America, it's 120 voltage, right? And we're 220 or 240 here, right? So if you put low voltage on high voltage, it will explode. It will explode. So the same, if our energies are low, we cannot. We can understand God, book knowledge. We can understand the spirit, book knowledge. But unless our voltage is high, only then do we have glimpses of that divine energy. Nobody will ever tell you or could tell you what that feels like. You can have to experience it for yourself because there are no words. Because if it's everywhere and everything, you have to be gone in order to experience it. And this is what they call samadhi, nirvana. For a time, you don't even exist. But to feel that feeling of non-existence in the body and connecting with the one source is hard until you are trained to get there. And this is why some people say, oh, it takes such a lot of effort, but once I start on this path, I can't go backwards. I can't. Even if I want to go become very materialistic again, even if I want to do all those things again, I can't anymore. I have to go forward. Why? Because the force of light is so great. That's where we came from. That's where we came from, that force of light. That's why we have it with us. But life, people, this university, fear indoctrinates our mind that you can't do it, that only certain people can do it. And then we get disillusioned because the certain people, they tell us they can do it, aren't doing it. We're not seeing they're breaking all the laws, they're breaking all the rules, and we're following blindly, like the blind leading the blind. And somewhere in our intelligent mind, it tells us this cannot be, there must be another way. And that's when you go another way, when you find the light, it takes great courage, because what are you doing? You're breaking away from this is the only way to. Truth is one, paths are many. Everybody has their way to the divine. Everybody has that right. Every living thing has the same right to love. If it was any other way, I don't think I'd want to know God. I'd rather be an atheist. A God that would say, you are good because you're praying to Lord Jesus, and you're good because you're praying to Lord Shiva, and you're good because you're praying to Lord Buddha, and everybody else is bad. Wow. What kind of God is this? Bigoted? Prejudiced? I don't want to know that. I'd rather be an atheist. This is my honest opinion. For me, my God is one of unconditional love. Just unconditional love that has given us the experience of life, of this life. And when we live on this earth, we should understand this earth well. We should study the world. What is this world made of? Atoms. We should know it scientifically. We should know the elements that we are made of and the earth is made of. We should understand that in this world there is pleasure and there is pain. And we should know without doubt that all of us are going to die. It's true, right? I love it when people laugh when I talk about death because it's so true. We are all going to die. So why aren't we acting like we are spiritual beings on this earth? We're all going to go through sorrow. So why aren't we holding each other's hands? Why are we condemning? Good girl, thank you. Yeah, and why doesn't everybody follow what you're doing? Yeah, exactly. Don't be afraid to follow that instinct. It feels so good when you follow that instinct. You're natural. I do love you. I do care. We are all humans. We all live in a world. We all put through the mill. There's no one person I know that hasn't been put through the mill? Why should my suffering be greater than yours, or yours greater than mine? Who am I to say that? I don't know what pain has possessed you. I just know pain. And I am very happy I know pain. And I'm so grateful to know pain because I can understand your pain. Without having it, I could never understand it. And that's why we have pain, so we can hold each other's hands. And why did this unconditional God give us this world, of pain and joy? And again, if you look at it, if you didn't have duality, there is no existence. There would be no existence. So we needed the duality to play with life, to play in this university. And in order to play and not take things so personally, you need to be brave. You need to say, I accept people insulted me and bear insult, bear injury. That takes bravery to say, okay, somebody's insulted me, I don't need to attack them back. I can walk away from nonsense. I can walk towards my belief system. I can follow my path of light and love, even though the whole world tells me I'm mad. And they will, because people, when you say, haven't you noticed, even in everyday life, you have a group of friends. One friend finds a partner that she's happy with. The rest will gossip, don't want her to be happy. Find all the faults. Haven't you seen it? I've seen it over and over again. I see 5 marriages. One marriage goes bad, but the 4 are still good. That man or that woman talk to these people, and they'll get convinced that their marriage is bad because the others are bad. And when they come to me and I said, but your husband or your wife isn't like that person. Light bulb, you're right, Nalanie. Why are you saying she's like that? Who's put that in your head? Do you see how weak we are as human beings? We can't see for ourselves. We're kind of so weak. And that's why you need courage. So, if you want to go to that light, you've got to build up your courage, and people will make fun of you. And they will always be watching you because they're waiting for the moment you fall. And then they'll say, you see, I told you, but that shouldn't bother you. And if you fall, it shouldn't bother you. And I know that many, many times I fall in my life, and I am sure will fall many more times before I die. I can almost guarantee it, that I will fall many more times because this is human existence. But I know one thing, that I only have to answer to my Father in heaven, who is the Lord of love. And so long as I'm really sorry if I do something wrong, I know I'm forgiven. So long as I don't cause pain purposely in my life, and my intentions are always pure, even though I hurt someone, I know I'm always forgiven. So I pick myself up and walk. And as I know I'm forgiven, I know everybody else is, because our God is not partial. This energy of love is not partial. But it takes a person to be really, 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 really brave to have that kind of conviction. You have to be really, really brave to say, I will apply spirit in every aspect of my life. In every aspect, good or bad, I will apply spirit. What is spirit but this divine love and kindness? And sometimes the divine act may not look so nice. Sometimes the divine act may look quite cruel. Sometimes a divine act, like, for example, I remember many years ago, and we can apply this today, I went to school to speak to 7-year-old children at St. Christopher's, I think it was. And they wanted me to speak on spirituality. Quite interesting, that they asked me to do that. And so I asked the children, what makes you happy, and what are you grateful for? And they were talking about presents, they were talking about all kinds of things, but there was a young boy who stood up, and he said, when I watched television last night, and that was the time of, the tsunami, 2004, 2006, I don't remember the years anymore, 2004 was a tsunami. And he said, And I watch all those people die. And he goes, and I got up this morning and I thanked God for my family, my mother, my father, my home, all those children. He said, Mrs. he called me. Mrs. died. I'm living. And I thank God for my family. And I thought, so you see, in order to recognize what you have, you have to see what you didn't have. So in a way, when you see those painful circumstances, painful, the tsunami, watching all those people on beaches, dead bodies, you say, how can a God in heaven do that? But then you realize on the other side of the globe, what has it done to those people? It's brought out the best in them. Forget about religions. All traditions from all religions went to Sri Lanka. Christians, Hindus, whatever you name it, went there in unison to look after these people. There were no differences then. So sometimes, when people ask me, why do these disasters work? If you say there is a God of love, to teach us. Only to teach us. And until we learn, they'll keep happening. And at the moment, why are we having all these financial crises all over the world? Isn't it obvious? As we sow, we reap. What has the last generation, the last 20 years done? All about greed, 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 greed. Big companies, let's collect more money. What about people's health? Collect money, collect money, collect. So much money collected for cancer research. I am sure we must have some kind of cure by now. Where is it? Where has it gone to? I am sure there must be knowledge that they're hiding from us. Why aren't they letting us know what kind of world we live in? So of course, where money is not used correctly, it will siphon off itself. Nature will make sure. Because we sow the seeds, we will get the results. Unfortunately, because we're all one, all of us will feel the ripples of it. And the same way, all of us feel the ripples of things done in greed and unkindness. All of us will also feel the ripples of things done in peace and love. We have this powerful energy called God. All it wants to do is love us. It's how we use that energy. It's up to us. That's the freedom we've been given. And our lives, we're given so many opportunities to excel, to grow, to become the best we can. The best we can, whichever path you're on. If you're a musician, the best musician you can. You're a singer, the best singer. If you love the computer, the best computer person you can be in yourself. And then you bring out the divine. But in order to bring out the best in you, you require courage and hard work. Simple courage and hard work. So if you really want to see this divine light, you have to ask yourself the question, are you willing to see evil in its eye and love, pure love in its eye? You have to be able to see both to find God. You have to forgive the worst sinner. Doesn't mean you don't punish, or punish by punish, I don't like that word punish. You don't correct the wrong action. You have to correct the wrong action. Because we have to teach people that the wrong actions will bring more suffering to the earth. And the right actions will bring more blessings to the earth. So we have to correct a wrong action around us. And in order to correct a wrong action around us, you have to have courage. Oh no, poor thing, he didn't mean it. Of course he meant it. Everything he was doing. Why do you say poor thing? It's a wrong action. You have no right to swear at somebody else in front of me. I don't like it. I don't think it's kind Oh, why should I say poor thing? He didn't mean it. He was in a bad mood. Does it give you a right to swear at anybody just because you're in a bad mood? Why poor thing? Not poor thing. You should know better. You're an intelligent human being. And sometimes in the name of spirituality, we say these things, which is so uncourageous. If we don't stick up, as the whole Bhagavad Gita says, for that which is right and loving and kind, if we are not the warriors of light ourselves, what example are we giving the world? Everybody, become a wuss, become weak. There, you'll find God.
I loved it yesterday, and I'm going to share a little something.
Sure, but make sure everybody can hear you because you're there.
Yes, they can hear me out loud.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of you watched Touch last night, and those, because it affects
yeah.
the whole globe, right? And there's things happening all over. But one of the things that I loved, and it is very relevant to what you're saying now, is a friend of this, it was in Africa, and a friend of this lady was getting beaten up by this bully. And of course, she stood up for a moment and he pushed her down, physically pushed her and bullied her. But then the next day she was hearing the screams of the woman getting beaten again. She couldn't resist it. She was not a wuss. She got her pot and pan and started beating the pot outside the woman's door. And slowly but surely all the other women came, beating the pot. And they just all stood there, about 20 of them. So the bully came out very, and he didn't dare. He saw he couldn't, and they just kept beating the pot with a lot of energy and a lot of light. We're standing here.
Good.
I was going, yes.
Non-violent courage, right? Look at Gandhi. Non-violence, but courage. He was beaten again and again and again, thrown into prison. Still had his gold. Didn't he get it? One man got rid of the whole British Empire in India. One man. Average man. Belief system. Courage, 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 courage. Why? His whole thing was non-violence and truth. Look how powerful those instruments are in our life. So if we practice non-violence and truthfulness in our life, look at the power you will receive. But man, Gandhi was a very weak man at that. Did you know that? He went to study law in England, and his first law cases were a failure. He was hopeless. Why? Because he had clients that obviously he knew were lying, but those were the only clients he had, and he was asked to defend them. And as a lawyer, you're supposed to be, detached, and whether your client is wrong or right, you have to protect them, but he couldn't do it. So he started stuttering in court, he couldn't do it. And then when he went to South Africa, and a friend or uncle had asked him to go to South Africa, I forget the story, I read it so long ago, watched the film. He went to South Africa and he saw all the injustice. The love for his people was so strong. All this is wrong that he used his law to protect his people to start with. They were treated so badly. And then he could speak. He got the gift of speech. He never liked it, but he got the gift. Because when you work in love, there's an energy that comes through you that you can't even describe. Where does it come from? When people do, can I say, Paula? Like Paula was saying to me, Paula lost her husband about a couple of months ago, gone through extreme pain and darkness. I really understand that. And what she's done is taken this pain and tried to give love, tried to help others, she told somebody came to her the other day, not very happy, and she tried to cheer her up. And really, she's the one she just lost her husband. And she's trying to cheer somebody else up. And then she said to me, Nalanie, I don't know where that strength came from. I don't know where that light came from. Is it because you stopped being so self-involved? And you're so loving to everybody in your pain, and you can see the pain is still there in her eyes. And I told her the pain will always be there. And her first thoughts are, I want my children to be well. Every session I've had with her, if I'm not well, my children will not be well. God has given me such great children. I have a responsibility to them. And I said, yes, you do. Yes, we have our sorrow, but we also have to realize they have theirs too. And if we don't heal, children don't heal. Selfless service. And in selfless service, this force comes. If she can serve others, it makes her happy in the end. And when she's happy, she's a little free from the pain. Isn't that quite incredible how it happens? I goes, yeah, I know, you know. So because I'm just thinking positive, I'm in pain, but I just got to move on and move on and move on. And anybody who's lost a partner, I mean, unless you have, please don't tell anybody, I know how you feel, because you won't. You won't. So please remember that. Because until I lost my husband, I did not understand the kind of pain that people go through. Never say, I know how you feel unless you've lost a partner. Somebody even told me, oh, my husband left me, or this boyfriend left me, or that boyfriend left me. It would be better if he died. I said, don't ever say that to me. Because you don't know. That separation forever, that soul, when you've been with a soul forever, and suddenly they're chopped, taken out, is really horrific. It's a dark, especially when you're madly in love with them. So, and she was so madly in love with her George, and I'm sure he's in this room, that's why I had to say this to you. I think his presence is very strong today. But that's irrelevant, that's life, you know? They never die, they just move on, how lucky. They're flying. So talking about the courage, you see, when you have the courage, yes, I'm in pain, I'm in sorrow, but the courage to move forward within the pain is necessary, and you always get rewarded. You know, what can I say? That energy is so kind. It's always testing us. It's always testing us. And then you look at Chandra here, who's been in England with a husband who could die any minute for the last 12 months, you know. The suffering, not knowing, is my husband going to make it? Isn't losing, 10 kilos and then, he's better again. And then losing another 5 kilos and he's better again. And we have to have another chemo. So, can you imagine living on the edge of life for 9 months and supporting your husband and sitting and dropping everything in your life, your children, and supporting him with helping him to do yoga, meditate, chant, let's walk, do all these things with him. Wow, I think it takes courage. I really think it takes courage to do that. Because I watched my husband suffering for 6 weeks and boy, was that hard. Talk about a year watching my husband suffer. Wow, courage. And then still smile at the end of the day and still know I need to come back and get my energy so I can. Why? Because I can go and serve him better. Wow, I see God when I see that. And I'm saying the truth, I'm not complimenting you. God bless you. But I had deep admiration for that. Deep admiration. And at the same time, she's low, she admits it. I need help, I need to get away. I need to walk, I need this, I need to be with my friends. No fear in being truthful of who she is. No fear even with her husband, so direct. So the relationship is so honest and so beautiful in the pain. Anyway, we had some good news. His tumor has shrunk a little, right? God bless. Good news. So, and when you see the courage, when you can have courage in every little thing, everyday things in your life, we are constantly tested to the highest courage, which is obviously death, because that's our last step. Facing it, or going through it, or seeing it, So you lost your father. So many have lost somebody, and it takes you make a transition in your life. So if you want to live a spiritual life with this connection, so you are able to move on in your pain, you have to be courageous in all the little things in your life. Small things. Find yourself where you are fearful. What takes away your strength and your energy? What makes you afraid? Look at it in the eye and walk towards your fear. Because if you can't sort out a simple fear, like, oh, I'm frightened of flying, you cannot find God. Frightened of flying? Go fly. If you need help, I'm good at that with phobias. I have quite a few people who never like fly today. It's great. When they go on the plane and they come out and go, I did it! You go, yes! You did it. And then they become free, and then they can go more places and do more things. And then the gods will give them more. Look at how Surya, he always Julio, right?
Myself as well.
Yeah. Yourself as well. Wait, I didn't know you were fearful of flying.
Very.
Wow. And look at you, you've flown all over the world.
And now I'm flying all over the world, yes.
Yeah.
16 hours in a plane now.
Yeah, you see? So it opens up everything. If you conquer your little fears, and also I was talking about it last night about the spider, but I remember Lakshmi many years ago when I first started, and she was one of our early students, and I was teaching from St. Martin's, right? And you know, when you meditate, and you start to meditate, even if you think you're not meditating, just the action of being with the divine, just sitting there and trying to get in connection with the divine, every day, you know, Master Shivananda and all the great masters have said, fear will leave you, anger will leave you, you know, all these things will leave you. You don't have to struggle, oh, I'm so frightened, I'm so frightened. I didn't go to meditation for that. I went to meditation because I wanted to know God. Full stop. I wanted to know peace and I wanted to know God, and I wanted to know both before I died. For some reason I knew that when I died it would be too late in the physical body, and I just wanted that. But when I read the books after I started, they said, these things will leave you just by looking for, you know, meditating. And they did one by one, because when I came into the spiritual path, I was so frightened of everything. Like most of us, I had never been alone in my life at the age of 33. Never. Always had somebody with me. I was so much frightened of being alone. I was frightened of bugs. See a little bug or a spider? Sweetheart! Oh, I can't sleep all night because of a bug and a spider. And now I talk to them in my room. I talk, don't you talk to them? They're so lovely, you know? Although I still think cockroaches are ugly. And I ask them why are they so ugly. I must eat them. So I tell them off for hurting us. But there's no that fear, right? And then I was petrified of heights. And that was a shock when one day I was down the underground in London. And you know how those escalators go all the way down. I used to, you know, my husband used to hold me. And then one day I was with him and he said, what's happened to you? What happened to me? He goes, you're not shaking. Wow, yoga works. Yes, yoga works on the escalator. I said, the fear left me by itself. And I could go down, and so many fears. I mean, I was really pathetic. Honestly.
Yeah, it was.
And then, well, so then I lost fears. And then I remember when Lakshmi, and after a few months of meditating, we were at the St. Martin's, and she goes, Nalanie, look. Nalanie, look. And I go, what? She's holding a little spider in the palm of her hand. And she goes, I said, great, you were saving the spider. And she goes, and she's crying, tears going out. She said, I've never been able to touch or look at a spider, and I've got it in my hand.
And now in Thailand, I was having a shower with them. Because they were everywhere. Centipedes, spiders, you name them, they were everywhere. So, you know, it is, yoga definitely works.
Yeah. And you see, and the courage comes. That's why I say you want to take the easy way, fall in love with all the good attributes, right? Have the courage to be the best you can. Have that courage to be the best you can. And then that's the easy way, and then all the things will leave you, and then you'll be tested over and over again throughout your life. If the great ones were tested, who are we to complain about being ministered? Right? The great ones were tested over and over and over and over and over. And they still loved unconditionally. You know, well, I am really just amazed, Lord Jesus on the cross. My Father in heaven, forgive them, they know not what they do. You know. And here somebody swears that one day and we can't forgive them for 20, 30 years. You know? It's so childish, isn't it? 20 years we hold on to this anger. Haven't we learned anything? And then we're studying the Bible, studying, and we can't even, what's the point of studying all that? And you can't even forgive one swear word. And people, again and again, I see they've been divorced for 20, 30 years. 30 years, they're still angry with an ex-spouse. They've all moved on. New families, new children. You wasted 30 years of your life being angry. What a waste of your life. To have the courage to forgive, you know, it takes great courage to forgive. Great, because you're going against the grain. You want to take revenge. That's the natural grain. To have that courage, it takes courage to be spiritual. You have to be very strong to forgive someone or forgive life of all the pains it's given you. You know, it's life, and the only way you can know that is to understand that it's the way it is. Full stop. There is no God punishing you. You deserve the worst, or you deserve the worst, or you know. I never forget when, you know, Annie, you know how Annie used to ask me, many years ago, she asked me, she said, Nalanie, I don't understand this God. Why are there special needs children? Why are there children born without legs, you know, deformed, or having such struggles? And I go, well, you don't know what that soul has to offer the earth, I told her. I said, we don't know. We really don't know. No, but she told me, I cannot understand this. I really cannot understand. I don't accept your explanation. Okay, it's fine if you don't, no problem. And recently, our Annie, of course, she's seen me with our Talia, right? And, hi Debbie, nice to see you.
Nice to be here.
Welcome. And recently...
Sorry I'm late.
Oh, please, no need to say sorry. You know, she says to me, she sees Talia, calls from our Talia, my granddaughter was born, she was 11. She's seen her like that, and suddenly she's laughing, she's communicating with sign language, she's making us all happy, and she goes, you see, there's a soul in that body. There's a soul. Can you feel it? She said, yes. And would I rather her dead or my daughter? Never. She's an angel in our lives. She's taught us all to give, love, serve unconditionally. And when she smiles, the joy we receive. And didn't you say that with the workshop?
Yes, amazing.
You know, we started these workshops in my home for special needs, and they came, Shanti was giving the class, and you came as a volunteer, and some of you came to help. And what did she say? What did you say? She said, you know, when I gave the yoga class, she said, Nalanie, I don't cry often, but I was sobbing. I just felt so good. So those children had given her joy of service. She would have never felt that goodness, which is truly her, because it was given in such an way as well, so natural. But they allowed you to be so human and so loving and so unconditionally, and to see the soul in them. And when you can see the soul in somebody's body who's battered or special needs and not got eeks, you know, as they used to do with them, then what do you see? You see God everywhere. You see that everything is just a covering. It's just a garment. And then you start to see life so differently. So differently. So whatever man has told you is wrong, think again. There's really no wrong or no right. If anyone tells you that there is a God that punishes, I really cannot in my soul believe that. Because even when I punish my grandchild or my children when they were little, it was done in so much love to make them better. It was never done to hurt them in any way. Isn't that true?
Yeah.
So if we do that to our children to elevate them to be better human beings, don't you think a divine being would be so much better than us? And you need courage to understand that conviction. You need courage to see beyond the small boxes that man and religion has put us in. And religion was there as a map to teach us in different ways. You know, Lord Jesus had to come to Jerusalem, actually as a Jew, to teach the Jewish people. Lord Krishna came to India as an Indian to teach the Indian people. That's the way it worked, because if a Jewish person went to teach India, they may not accept him. But now we live in a world that is so universal. People traveling all over the globe. So we live in a very different world. And we have so much more knowledge. So much more knowledge. And if you look at all the religions and you put them together, what are they teaching you? Love one another. If you're saying love one another, how can you say one is better than the other? You can't. You just cannot. It's not intellectually, spiritually correct. And to stand up for that takes great courage. Great courage. In the beginning, you'll be tested on your courage. People around you will tell you you're mad and you're crazy. How many Catholics have we had here who've undergone fire? And still they love Lord Jesus so much, it hasn't taken them away. They just wanted to know him better, in a deeper way. And they've gone through, oh, you're coming to yoga. But yoga is the science of finding out who Lord Jesus really is, you know. How many? How many Hindus? You know, and you say, oh no, they will not go to you because you teach love is everywhere and God is everywhere. So, but isn't that the Hindu tradition anyway? No, we have our Lord Shiva, Lord Krishna. It's the same. Again and again, we see it. And it's almost like we can't get away from separation. So, the only thing to do is to just develop your own courage. And when you do, you see your own light. And the light that's within you, you start to see in everybody else. Because you know it to be true. You know it to be true. Because you're courageous enough to be able to sit in the silence of your own thoughts and mind and not judge your own thoughts and your own mind, but watch it as you're watching somebody else's, so lovingly, unconditionally. And when you can do that with you, you can do it with everybody else. And you need courage to look at yourself. You need courage to see the parts of you that are so rigid, that are so, the parts of you that is so unloving, unkind, and also the parts of you that are so loving and so kind. And to work with those parts of you, you need courage to do that. You need, oh, don't worry. You know the saying, better late than never. We need the courage to go beyond all that. And we need the courage to see our human personality, who we are and what we are for what we are, and not to pretend to be better than who we are and what we are, and not to pretend to be worse than who we are and what we are either. But just to be who we are as the best we are in the best way we can. Some people expect us to be better than anything, and maybe we're not, and it's okay. And people want us to be worse, and maybe we aren't, and it's also okay. It takes courage to be you. It takes real courage to be you. But I kept asking myself this each and every one of us, he would not have made so many individuals. He could have cloned the whole lot of us to be the same, and it'd be much easier. But God wanted to know God in all its different aspects in each human being. So each human soul could have the potential and the courage and the honor of knowing that divine light within themselves. And that's how much we are loved. We were given permission to find that. And so often we deny it because of doctrine, dogma, wanting to please everyone. But don't you know, who are you trying to please? We're all going to die.
Please yourself.
Please yourself, and then you'll be pleasing God. Because maybe God wanted you to find God your own way. Your very own way. I talked about this last night. You know, for years my mother used to say, go to the temple and do this ritual. If you do this ritual on full moon, and you'll be lucky, and if you don't do it, and I was like, Mom, Mom, I don't believe in these rituals. Oh, but you should go and pray. Mom, I pray all the time. You must be vegetarian. I was telling them last night. You must be vegetarian on a Monday. Mom, I'm vegetarian all the time. I don't have to remember if it's Monday or Thursday or full moon or this feast day or that feast day. I'm always vegetarian. So, she looks at me, she goes, yeah, you're different, Nalanie, it's okay. She got the kindness to see me. She makes excuses. Oh, you don't have to do it. You're different anyway. She's accepted me totally now for who I am. And my mom, who, in her life, she's such a traditionalist. She herself is she has to do all those rituals. She has to do all those things. And I used to say, Mom, what for? You know what? I have seen that her rituals, she now has a little bit of dementia. But I've seen her rituals, her prayers, all that she had to do in the name of her God has been wonderful for her. Because now with her dementia, she only never forgets her prayer time. 6 o'clock, I have to do my evening prayers. It's late, I got up late, it's 8 o'clock, I have to go down to the prayer room, do my prayers. And because of that, she's so sweet with her dementia. She's become so sweet in 1 year. And for the first time, my sister had her, my son and my daughter-in-law bought me an iPad. What a nice surprise. So we were playing some games on the iPad, and Mom was sitting at the dining table with us, right? And we were trying to teach her how to play boggle. To make, any of you play boggle? Oh, you don't know anything. You don't have fun. It's a word game. It's so much fun. So we were playing boggle, right? So we're trying to teach Mom to make the words, and they have to make 3 letters and 4 letters word. And she goes, and she's really, actually, first time she's having some fun. She's doing something besides praying and eating, and watching TV. So we're quite happy. She's laughing, she's making a few words, and then she suddenly stops and she goes, what a waste of my time when I could be using God's name. I said, Mom, you don't need the boggles. How do I know how you're going to find God? I'm trying to make you laugh and do all these things, and you come up with such a statement that blows my mind. You go, okay, who am I to tell you what to do? Go, be happy. In her own world, she's not bitter, she's not unhappy, she's not crying, she's not screaming. And most people, when they go to dementia, I don't know if you know, they start swearing and all this foul language where they've never had it. I don't know if you know that, but it happens a lot. But my mother's the opposite. So sweet. So all her rituals, all her belief systems, all her devotion to her Guru Nanak has taken her to this peaceful place in a place of pain and loss of memory. Wow, I thought, really, you see, I guess in her body she had to know God that way. In my body, I needed to know God my way. And each way, in each person in their own way. That's why we're all individual. And how much fun is that? How much fun to know that, wow, everyone is a light in their own way, and not to separate and not to judge. And then you can see that you just have fun. You just have fun. You don't know where the next person is going to give you a great teaching. You don't know where it's going to come from. So, life becomes quite exciting. Who's going to teach me the next big lesson? Where am I going to meet the next great saying? And that's the way the mind is thinking. So when the mind is thinking like that, it has no time for these petty problems. He said, she said, they did, this one said that. It doesn't exist anymore in the mind. It doesn't have any space. Oh yes, you might get talking about it once in a while, just for a bit of earthly fun. You're playing. It's good to find out about this and that. Because we live on earth, so we need to know things. So we live here, we have to be grounded as well. But really in the mind, it doesn't stay. You learn, you play, you have some fun, you find out a few bits of news, and then after that, it's gone. You're more busy again, with higher things. And to do that, you need great courage to go beyond the pettiness of your life. The petty things. It takes great courage to say, I need to let that go. Stop this. Detach from this. And this is why Sri Patanjali talks about two things you need on the spiritual path. What does he say? Practice and non-attachment. Practice being with the divine energy every day. Effort towards steadiness of mind is practice, he tells us. Effort towards steadiness of mind. Who makes the effort? We. What is required of us? Learn to keep the mind focused. So when you try to meditate, don't think I have to keep it blank. If you can't, you'll be trying the rest of your life. Don't force it. Keep it focused. And I always say when you first start on something that's filled with love and light. So ask yourself, what fills you with this feeling of love and light, and then focus on it. And then the mind will start to do its thing. Bring it back to that focus of love. When you've got something that's full of love, easy to hold on to. Easy to hold on to. That's the easy way. Any questions? People are good. No question is too little or small, so. Any questions at all? Yesterday I was giving a talk and I said, any questions? And there was none. And then afterwards, somebody came to me and said, I have many questions. And I said, what you do next week, you put it on a piece of paper and just put it beside it, and nobody needs to know it's your question. Sometimes people are embarrassed. You need great courage to ask that great question. If you don't ask that great question, you may never get the answer.
And we have a box outside if that's how they feel for when we come back after Easter.
Did you know we had a question box outside? Do we ever look at it to see if there are any questions?
Yes.
Because once I think somebody had written and Terry saw somebody written, she said, was it you that said, told somebody that there were questions in the box to look at it? So anyway, and then that's, it's important to ask questions because never follow blindly. Blind faith is not true faith. In order to have real faith and courage, you have to know it for yourself. I can say whatever I want. Until you know it for yourself, you don't know it. You just don't know it. And this is why it's so important to sit with yourself. And you need courage to do that. And hard work. Sorry. Hard work is a lovely word, not a bad word. And what are you working for? Your own progress anyway. So this is what Sri Patanjali tells us. Practice, which is every day, practice some time being with the light within, the God within. Because you can only talk to God within you. You can't do it through me. I mean, you can talk and I can talk, but it's do it through you, or do it through the great ones, the great masters. They're our channel. My master is my telephone line. My telephone line. But talk to them. The only way you can talk to them is by building your voltage, your energy to a higher level. You need courage to build it. You need to face life in a courageous way in order to reach that higher level. If you just remember again and again and again, whenever you doubt yourself, read about all the lives of the great ones. They all had tremendous courage, tremendous humility, tremendous peace, tremendous joy, tremendous love. Whenever you feel scared, remember the great ones, and you'll be guided what to do. Ask for help when you're weak. Ask, give me the courage to change the things I can. Give me the courage. I'm scared, admit it, but give me the courage to do it. And then the wisdom to know the difference. Give me that wisdom. And then the next thing is non-attachment. Non-attachment to all your own belief systems. Non-attachment to your personal views on how life should be. One person, this is how all life should be. Who are you to determine the way how everybody should be? What makes us so great? Non-attachment to all those personal, rigid ideas. Hard work to break away from yourself and your mind, and that's the work we have to do. It takes great courage to move forward and be you. Fully and completely, and like the real you. What's and all, as they would say.
But it's so worth it.
Thank you.
It's so, it just lightens the load so much when you just separate from all the nonsense, which makes no sense anyway.
Correct.
So thank you for...
Thank you for being such a great example. You are so you. You know, it's so nice not to see clones. Everybody, I love this yoga center because everybody's such an individual. In fact, somebody from Madrid said, Maria said, Nalanie, your center was so many characters. I said, isn't it nice? They're all themselves. Nobody's trying to be anybody else. And they're trying to be the nicest they are. I said, yeah, because I love them all. And that makes me so happy, you know? Because many centers you see everybody, hello, how are you? You know, I don't believe we were meant to do that. That is personal, us and God. And yes, we meditate together because we know it creates a lovely energy. We know it. So our whole energy should be just of joy. Joy of being, joy of living, gratitude. Being grateful for every single moment that we have on this earth. Although hard, although difficult, there are times when it's so difficult. I really do know. But what can we do? It's difficult. Get over it. No sob stories. No, I'm not, but no, you can't do. Why not? You're just too weak. Get some courage and be brave. Who says you can't do it? You can do anything you want. They're giggling. They must have been working on something recently. Am I correct?
She's going, she's showing me
gratitude, but she's got
a
more
little
love
medal
than
when she
me.
says gratitude, and I go, love. Sorry, we're just being silly.
Good to be silly. Why not?
But it is, yes, we have been working with stuff in the sense that Bonnie was sharing stuff the other day, and she says, I don't know if you understand me, I riddle. And I says, yes, I riddle too. And she's saying, I'm so grateful you riddle too. So I suppose yoga is riddling. so funny because just seeing connections and seeing love.
Yeah, you see, that's what you have fun. You play. You see, you play. You play with, like children play. You know, children are incredible. They play, they fight, they fall, and if the parents don't interfere, they forgive each other. And they play again. Yeah. But then the parents come and, how dare you do this? And this is a bad person, and your neighbor is bad, and put all these thoughts in your head, and then you think, I can't play with this one because that one is bad, and this parent, don't you know the mother is like this? But if you don't interfere with children, because I know in my time, my parents never interfered with friends in school. You know, they only interfered when I was a teenager. And I'd come back from school and they had grades, and they go, Mom, I got hurt. So, no big deal. She would go, so, everybody falls, everybody gets hurt. So what happens? You learn to be tough, and you learn to forgive. You learn to go back the next day and tell the person off, and it's no big deal. In a few weeks later, you're friends again. But nowadays, we put so much attention on little things. We make ourselves so weak. We feel so sorry. Oh, poor thing. You know, children do in playgrounds. I'm not talking about bullying as a different thing. You should attend to bullying. But normal things, you know, you play, you fall, you know, one day you're angry with a friend. We make too much big deal of everything, so we teach our families, people to interfere and find the worst out of each child, instead of forgiving and finding the best out of each person.
I think it's also really good when you actually follow your own inner voice.
Yes.
And even though everybody, I find it sometimes when you follow your own inner voice, everybody comes to test you. It don't even happen to other people. You know, why is nobody on my side on this? But it doesn't matter. When you follow your true voice and you get there, then everyone comes back and says, wow, well done, you did it.
When they're telling you
But you were telling you 5 minutes ago, what are you doing that for? The same people.
Always, always. You will find that all your life. All your life.
Just to have the courage to stick up
To
to
be
your
you.
truth. And also to tell others what you really think as well. In my case, that's been difficult, but now I'm getting better.
She's got
More
the
courage. More courage.
The other day we had a meeting and something wasn't right. And normally she would just keep it to herself. And she goes out and says, but you know, you were saying this, but you didn't do this part right. Yes. But she said it in all the love in the world. Like, you didn't do your job well. You're talking about everybody else doing their job well. You didn't do your job well. You should have done this. And I go, my goodness. And the person goes, I didn't do it. No, you just walked away. You didn't participate in the real karma yoga. And the person goes, she caught them out. I loved it. Mastery. Oh, it was great. Because I wasn't there. And that person was telling me all that they did. And I knew it wasn't true. But I wasn't there. And I have to be neutral. So when somebody has the courage to speak the truth in such love, because she did it in such love, I was very proud of her. And that's the way we need to do it, so people don't get away with lies. So, and this is the path of courage, and this is the path of truth, and this is the path of the spirit. And you cannot find, for those who are seeking God on this earth, or seeking whatever you want to call it, divine energy, really words are irrelevant to me, that great love, I call it, within ourselves. You know, you have to have courage. You just have to. You cannot do it without. And you see yourself weak and a wuss and scared to do things, and you know what? Get strong. Just get strong. Stop saying, I can't because, no, I can do anything I want. How much do you want your peace? How much do you want to see God? How much do you want to know that experience of bliss? It's up to you. If you don't want it enough, then you don't have to do anything. Easy. Stay weak. God bless you. You have many lifetimes to sort it out. It's your choice. And that's what we've been given, the freedom to speed up the process of light. That's all. Speed up the process. That's what knowledge gives us. That's what our own personal work does for us. We do it. And then we join up with the force. It's great fun. It's great fun. Sometimes I must admit it is very tiring because to walk in and out of worlds, sometimes when you're in an energy of light and then to go to an energy of darkness, it is hard, it is tiring, it does drain you a little bit. It doesn't matter, what are we for? Our lives here for service anyway. It's okay, so long as you can share light. Don't grumble too much about it. Have the courage to just do it. Just do what you have to do. Be who you are. Nobody can be you. Will you remember that, please? Really, 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 really. Silta told me this many, many years ago on my first retreat. She didn't tell me, she gave a reading out to all of us who went to that retreat. Said, you are special. That was the title. Nobody in this world has your character. Nobody has your smile. Nobody has your nose. Nobody has your way of being. Nobody has anything. You're the only one in the world that has all those things. You are truly unique. Truly unique. Why do you think God made you that way? Because God wanted to know God in you. So with your uniqueness, with whatever that's been given to you, whether in a perfect body or in a battered body, you can still teach. And I have surely learned that with my granddaughter, whose body and mind was battered. And with love, she is healing and communicating and taking us and so many people to different places. Never underestimate the power of the soul. Never. It is quite amazing. Because of her, my daughter-in-law now in Hong Kong is doing a lot of work. And she brought over the teacher for special needs on her Smart Hong Kong. 16 people got trained to work with special needs. Because of her, there's a group in the Philippines that wants to open something that's so different for special needs there. One little child had to come in a broken body to influence my daughter, these people in Hong Kong, in the Philippines, in Spain, in Barcelona. Wow, you have